The effect of a mother's prayer. I'm not a prophet, neither am I a daughter of a prophet, but I will say something about a mother's prayer for her children. This prayer will begin with Hannah, Elkanah's wife, and co-wife to Peninnah. She had no child. The Bible calls her barren. She cried, it didn't work. She was isolated, it didn't work. She was provoked sore by her co-wife, but all this did not yield results. Her husband loved her more than he loved Peninnah. It didn't work. She decided to pray for a son in a different way. She changed the format. She removed the volume. She did not walk around the sanctuary. She had prayed loud before, and it didn't work. She had walked as she prayed, and it didn't work. This time, she sat in one place and made no noise. Eli thought she was drunk. He was not used to seeing Hannah praying sanctimoniously. He rebuked her. She was not even offended. She understood Eli was a man of God, and she knew the prayer she was praying. But the prayer she prayed was so powerful, it moved God. He used Eli to prophesy to her. She actually bare a son, a prophet, a Nazarene, a powerful prophet of that time, Samuel the prophet. The Bible does not tell us the prayer she prayed over Samuel after he was born, but we see the results in the son that becomes a prophet. Samuel is the first of the prophets that is recorded after Judges. He was not of the descendants of Aaron. He was not priestly, but he succeeded Eli in the priestly office. We find him performing the role of kingmaker, commissioned to anoint Saul, the first king of Israel, and David, the greatest king of Israel. He also slaughtered Agag, the king of the Amalekites. What prayer did Hannah pray? We don't know, but we see the results in Samuel, her son. Then there is this woman, Bathsheba, Uriah's wife. She finds herself in King David's bosom as his wife after the death of Uriah, her husband. She produces the first son and he dies. She then produces the second son and he is named Solomon. He grows in the palace like all the other sons of David the king. Then one day, David was very old. His sons were struggling over who should succeed him. But David had earlier on told Bathsheba that Solomon would succeed him, and she had hidden it in her heart. So Nathan comes and tells Bathsheba that Adonijah, David's son, was vying for the throne. They made a plan, and Bathsheba went and made a prayer to King David. She had maintained her favor before the king over the years. She reminded him of his promise. Kings normally don't want to tell lies or to promise and not to fulfill. So David listens to Bathsheba and makes a drastic decision. He calls for the immediate enthronement of Solomon upon his throne, even when David was still alive. Kings are normally replaced after their death, but Bathsheba's prayer changed things. David was replaced before he died. That was the mother's prayer. Moses was another one, whose mother was very prayerful. She cast him in the river after praying over him. We don't hear her pray, but we see the effect of her prayer. Moses is rescued by Pharaoh's daughter, who takes her to the palace and calls for a Hebrew maid to take care of him. And they bring his very mother. That was a mother's prayer. She kept praying over him until when he grew, he made a decision to be with the people of God. It was his mother's prayer that pushed him to and sustained him in the wilderness until God met him. He became the deliverer of the children of Israel because of a mother's prayer. Mother, what is the effect of your prayer for your children? If it has not been seen, keep praying. It will yield results definitely.